With the recent conclusion of Season 1 of Kaiju No. 8, we can finally give a full in-depth season review. We had an earlier video on the channel, a first impression video after the first episode, but now with all the episodes out, my opinions about it are solidified and complete. Spoiler warning, there will be a few spoilers in this video, maybe a bit minor, so if you don't want any spoilers, you could just head out. Starting off, the show is amazing. It managed to capture my attention and make me care about the MC in 12 episodes. I was getting emotional in some scenes. I think they did a good job engaging the audience for a story that I would say is very predictable. By that I mean it's like the Attack on Titan script. But every time Kafka, the MC, transforms, they manage to make it cool all the time, even though we know it's coming. The moment I see a strong character, I'm like, okay, he's gonna say I'm not gonna transform, and then he transforms. But they still manage to make it look cool. One thing I wondered though, the world and the force seemed so small, like we had already seen the strongest in the world. And usually it's not the case. The top dogs I kept until much later in the show. Like we have already seen the general fight in the show. And I'm guessing maybe he might not be the strongest person. Also General Narumi that pulled up, I'm guessing might be his right-hand man. Makes me feel like, okay, the world might be much bigger. Plus there are other divisions in the whole of Japan. So I would assume there are much more people that know how to throw hands. Because if you think about it, if Mina is supposed to be one of the strongest, I mean, is she really the strongest or is she the strongest from her sector? But if she's supposed to be one of the strongest and we've seen her already, then I don't know. It just seemed very small, but I'm guessing there's a lot more to go or to come in the future for sure. My favorite characters have to be Mina's number 2, Soshiro Hoshina, and Reno Ichikawa, like Kafka's guy. I mean, Soshiro just reminds me of Levi. Like, it feels like I'm watching Levi in a universe that he is more playful, but the fighting style is very similar, and he can get, when things get serious, he is throwing hands, and he has a great personality. On the other hand, I think Reno is also like the opposite side of Levi. For some reason, I just get that vibe. He's super loyal and super skillful, and I feel he has like a big future ahead of him. I'm guessing he's gonna get into a leadership role if you're gonna go way ahead in the future, and the skills will come eventually. It's clear, like he's learning at an astronomical pace for sure. And I like him because I think his relationship with Kafka is probably one of my favorite parts of the show. One thing that was weird to me though, at the end of the first episode, we saw Mina in her bathtub and she was basically angry at Kafka. I'm guessing it was Kafka not being by her side, but it seems like they've just thrown that into the deep end because they never touched upon that again. And I mean, she knew that Kafka had been trying year after year after year, so why would she be so upset that he abandoned her when clearly he is trying to reach out to her? And when he joined the force, as much as she tried to keep a cool pose, she was ecstatic. I know she was screaming in her bedroom when she went home, for sure. Anyway, let's talk about the villain. I mean, the main villain we've seen right now, Kaiju No. 9. I don't know how I really feel about him. I need some personality in my villains. Right now, he's very robotic. He's like a baby that is learning everything about humanity and is, trying to assimilate and find out new ways to beat him. But he seems super strong because, I mean, he dispatched Shinomiya like easy. But Kafka almost kills him in that first meet, but if he did kill him, there wouldn't be a show, would there? So, of course, some shit happened and he managed to escape. From my understanding, he's one of the more intelligent kaijus that have appeared. There haven't really been intelligent kaijus that use their mind that the Force have dealt with in its history. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Force is going to tackle that. And he is also forming up an army of like-minded kaijus that are also intelligent per se to come and fight them. I mean, in the last episode, they said they wanted to go back and pick up what they've lost. So I'm guessing the kaiju that possessed Kafka was part of them. So that should be interesting in the future. Like, I really want to see where that goes and how the fight happens and all of that good stuff. But this whole dynamic of kaiju forming like an army to beat the humans that hunt the kaiju, and there's a human that has a very strong kaiju inside him that might be able to take over him if he's not careful. I don't know, it's just giving JJK. And really, a lot of animes are just following the same blueprint nowadays. But Still love it though. Even the last kaiju that they fought at the end, it reminded me so much of the kaiju that Toji killed. But maybe because they're both red. But I'm just getting crazy JJK vibes from this show. Overall, though, it was a good show. The end scared me a little bit. I thought Kafka was actually gonna kill the general, but I mean, he didn't end up killing him. So, but the fight was amazing. It was lovely. And now we know when Kafka has been pushed to the limit, there is a chance for him to fully become a kaiju and be devoured by the other kaiju in him. And this is something that he can't escape. And he just has to fight through it for the rest of his life, because it seems like Kafka and the kaiju are one. He doesn't even have a heart right now. What he has is a paw. So he just needs to stay himself for the whole show. I believe, that dynamic would be interesting to explore later on in the seasons. I'm sure there will be cases where he would lose control, and maybe something bad might even happen from him losing control and a redemption arc will come. Who knows? Because, the whole thing is we're trusting him. There has to be a point where the trust is shook a little bit. That's how movies are for sure, most times, if not all the time. Watching this, I thought it was a great show. I loved the animation. The fight scenes were lovely. It was super crisp and interesting. And I think there's a lot more to the world that we can see. But I can't wait till people start dropping dead, because a show like this, I think that's all it needs to take it to the next level. I give this season a solid 8.5 out of 10. Can't wait for the next season. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment what's your favorite thing about this show. Bombs out.